Coming to you from an undisclosed location deep in the middle of frozen Michigan farmland. It's the first question and answer session for the for module one. How you doing? I'm Matt LeClaire, as you know. If you're watching the videos, you know my voice by now, and I do have an accent. I found out I didn't learn of my accent until I was deep into my 30s. And I guess everybody that I talked to outside the country, outside of Michigan and Wisconsin, were just being polite and wouldn't tell me about my accent. And then I found out I had one, and everybody in the country would know where I was from. And I said, "How are you?" I thought it was caller ID, and it was my accent. It was giving me away. And then I went down. I was last year, the year before, I was invited to go down to Florida to be on my client's radio show that I was helping them with. And immediately they picked on my accent, just immediately down there. So I guess I do have one. I'm sorry if it bugs you. And some people down in Australia a couple of years ago I had a hard time understanding what I was even saying. She said she almost needed an interpreter. So if you're from from the land down under, and if you're having a hard time understanding my Michigan dialect, hey, I'll get you a transcript. All right, Ryan's asking questions. All right, now I promised you that we were going to have a quiz. And hopefully everybody's paying attention. And if you're on the live portion of this call, you're going to get a chance to win some gifts because I went shopping. And I love going shopping. This time I went shopping at a new site that I found. I love this site. It's theartofmanliness.com. It's not a chauvinistic site either. It's a teaching men how to become gentlemen and how to learn to do things that men always knew how to do. And it's important that some of these things that, like my sons, I'm raising a couple of sons, and well, they're in their 20s now. So I guess I've raised them. Well, really, I'm still raising them, and they're under my roof. So I'm buying, don't tell them this, but I'm buying some of what I'm giving away to them for Christmas, because it's going to fill in the gaps of what I wish I would have taught them growing up. And so that's where the gifts come from. That's where I had a lot of good fun time shopping. I think you'll like the gifts. And if you're not a guy, it doesn't matter. You'll know somebody that is a guy, I bet, unless you're living on out in the Amazon somewhere where there's only women running around, which I don't think that place exists. So yeah, you probably know somebody you can give this to as a gift for the holiday season. But I will show you what I'm giving away. First of all, I have 3 of these I have purchased. So the Art of Manliness pocketbooks. These are, I have no idea, they're pocketbooks. These are the first ones I've given away. I bought 3 of these, so I have 9 of those to give away, but I'm going to give away the 3-part packages. The other thing I'm going to give away is I bought 2 of these Art of Manliness books that are signed by the author Brett McKay. And if you haven't read any of Brett McKay's stuff, look him up. There's how to spell his name right here, Brett McKay. I'm just going to go back real quick to make sure I'm recording the screen rather. I wasn't. Sorry. I'm going to back up just a little bit. All right, here's the pocket notebooks. They're just notebooks. Don't knock yourself out trying to win this one over the other ones. They're just cool notebooks. I have 3 of these to give away. Also, this book here, The Art of Manliness. It's your
screen sharing has been disconnected.
Oh boy, I just got yelled at. My screen sharing has been disconnected. Why was I disconnected? Don't do that to me. All right, there's no books. There's a book. Now, in this book, I read the book. I wouldn't ever give away something without reading it first. In this book, I learned some really important things that my dad didn't teach me, like how to start a fire without matches. That's important. How to be the perfect house guest. How many people do you know that have come over to your house and they've abused your house, they've abused your hospitality to them? It's important that you don't do that to anybody else while you're out traveling. And I want my boys to learn how to do that. How to give a man hug. I know how to do that, how to predict the weather like a frontiersman, how to raise resilient kids, ask for a woman's hand in marriage, and my favorite one, and I don't see it in here, they even go into how to land in an airplane in an emergency situation. John, you're going to love that section, because now I feel confident if I'm ever flying, just from reading the book, if we crash or if something happens to the pilot, rather, I'll be able to take over just from this book. So it's a good read. It's kind of like an almanac, and I'm going to give 2 of these away. So get ready for that. And also this little box set. It comes with the 7 manly virtues and the book, The Art of Manliness, and it comes with something else. Oh, 6 drink coasters. That's cool. And I'm giving one of these away. And finally, last but not least, Ben Franklin's Virtues, 13-week journal with updated dimensions, $47. Only the best for you guys. And given that we only charge $100 to get into the course, and we gave half of that, and by the way, we gave half of that to Melissa Ward. We're sending her a cashier's check now for $1,600. So we had 32 people come in, I think, and so that's $1,600 for Melissa this Christmas season. Thank you for that. That's a big reason why I wanted to do this, is to get her a little extra money above and beyond what you guys have already been sending her with the gift cards for the consultations. I think all in all, she's at $51,000 from the fundraiser that Eric Ward set up, that Danny Sullivan set up for Eric and his family, and then I think 8,000, 9,000 from gift cards and a bunch of other stuff that we've been doing for them and raising through through consultations and courses like this. So, and it's awesome helping people out, and seeing what you guys are doing and the money, and for her, it's just awesome seeing. But I'm a big fan of Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin was an awesome individual, and what he did, he accomplished a lot. And his journal taking is something that, if you know somebody that you want to be a little more organized in your business coming in the 2018 series, you're going to love this. And so I'm going to give, I ordered that too. That's on the way. So here we go. Those are the prizes. Yes, peace and blessings. They're, I'm gonna reach out to her today to let her know about the check, and I will send your blessings to her for sure. And I know she appreciates them. Should I sign up for SpyFu? No. I always do, and then I say, why do I need it? I get what I need from the paid version, from the free version. There'll be other tools you can get, but you won't need it for this course, or from anything you do with Golden Prospects, because unless SpyFu comes up with a bulk search where you can put a list of, say, 50 URLs in, and then it brings up the value of each one. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think they have any import like that where you can do a bulk search. In fact, you have to do them one at a time, and they're free gives that one away. So it's not that, I don't know why, what's the sense of being purchased, and then because we get away with it with the free, and we do it for our client campaign. So we're always looking at Golden Prospect sites. All right, here we go. Turn the screen off. Question number 1. And well, let me turn the screen on. To be eligible for this prize, you may answer more than once. And if you don't like the prize you won, you can trade it up if you win another one. So I'm not going to say you can only win one prize per person. Yes, but you can keep winning and you can trade up. All right. Here we go. Question number 1. Oh, what you do is raise your hand. See right here like this.
Your screen sharing has been disconnected.
Why is that doing that? See, I raised my hand. Okay. John, you raised your hand very well. Everybody who is playing, please raise your hand. Ben, John, Carrie. No, Danielle, you can't play. All right, well, you guys might win more than one. All right, question number one. First person to raise your hand after I ask this will get the chance to answer it by typing it in. What is the difference between a golden link prospect and a typical link prospect? Shoot, I didn't see it. I wasn't paying attention. John, you would love playing Jeopardy with my dad. Ben, was it Ben or Ryan? Well, Ben, I'll give Ben the first shot at it. Ben, what is the difference between a golden link prospect and a typical link prospect? All right, we're slowing. We're slowing to a grind here. Okay. Yeah, it's somebody that you get, somebody that has more to offer your business. If you target sheep and you have a sheep pasture land that you like to have sheep come on and it gives extra nutrients to them that they can't get in other pasture lands, and then shepherds hire you to send them to your pasture. So it's like target the shepherds, and that has influence with the sheep that you're looking to get into your own pasture. So yeah, usually a golden link prospect is a shepherd. So Ben, you just won one of these. So Danielle, could you write that down? Well, it'll be in the recording too. Ben gets an Art of Manliness pocketbook with a value of $8.39. All right. Question number two. First hand I see. Yeah, and what John said was right. I haven't asked the question yet. Let's wait till I ask the question. Ben said that, yeah, golden prospect is a high value prospect. John said it provides more money to your business. Yes, drives more revenue. All right. Question number two. After I ask the question, is that better? Is that good? Can anybody else see me? How many fingers am I holding up, everybody? All right. Sorry, Oliver. Must be that rain. All right. Question number two. First one to raise their hand after I ask this question has a chance to answer it. Do authorities ever beg for links? Jonathan. Jonathan, you just won yourself an Art of Manliness pocket notebook, a 3-pack, retail value $8.39. No, authorities never ever beg for links. Why not? They don't need to. So anybody begging for links, it immediately tells the person you're reaching out to that you are not a authority. All right, here we go. Question number three. First one to raise their hand after I ask the question. What should you do if your golden prospect ignores you? All right, Jonathan came in on that one, and he could trade up. But Jonathan, I'm not going to take your hand this time because this is for another notebook. I'm giving the last notebook. John White, persistent pays off. You made it in. What was the question again? What should you do if your golden prospect ignores you? Call them. Yep. What should you do? John, you get a handy dandy Art of Manliness pocket notebook. That'll be sent to you in the very near future. All right, let me close that out so I don't keep pulling this up. All right. How about that? That would be probably real hard to do, because as soon as they come in, we'll send them out, because it's going into my sister's place, and then my nephew packs them up and sends them out. All right, so let's do this. Question number 4. Let me share my screen. Giving away The Art of Manliness book. Retail value, $18.99. First to raise their hand after I ask the question. What does a link to your website from another website symbolize? Oliver. Jen, you were so close that time. What does it symbolize, Oliver? A reciprocal link? Yes, that would be a reciprocal link. No, that's unfortunately that is the incorrect answer. I have to put my foot down there. No, a reciprocal link is representative when one site links to one site and the other site links back. That's usually like a linking partnership. Eric Ward had another term that he used. He said link building is a symbol of what, Jen? What does a link to your website from another website symbolize? Relationships. Yep, that's an Eric Ward mantra that he beat into my head with a rubber mallet when we'd speak. And we do the consultations, and he would just keep pounding it in my head. Relationships, relationships, relationships. The one book to you, for you, Jen. Congrats. All right, question number 5. This is another book. And we're going to have the 2 big giveaways. First to raise your hand. Is it easier to fool Google with the links you build, or to earn real revenue? Well, I phrased this stupid. Just a minute. And I'm teaching this course? Goodness. Question 5. Is it easier to fool Google with your links, or to earn real revenue with links using the system that you're learning in this series, or that you're going to learn in this series? Jonathan Monk. What's easier? Fooling Google or earning money through relationship link building? Right. John, you have a choice. You have already won a notebook. Would you like to trade that notebook in for the Art of Manliness book, so you can learn how to land airplanes in case the pilot ever gets in trouble? Got the upgrade, and Jonathan comes in with the upgrade. All right, so now we have 1 notebook to give away. And I just dropped a question. I'm going to read it from the ground. We're giving this away now. $29.99 retail value. True or false? Did Eric Ward have a 92% conversion rate on his link requests? Was that Ben? Ben, I think that was Ben first then. Ben, true or false? True, he did. And how did he have that? How did he get such a high rate? Whoever answers it gets the notebook. Reputation, well, he had a high reputation, but a lot of the people he reached out to for links for his clients didn't know who he was. He was picky. Yeah, he would build social capital up too. Yeah, he was very picky about 3 things. First, he was picky about the type of clients he brought in. That's pretty important. He was also picky about the type of prospects he went after. And what was the third thing he was picky about? Oh, the content that he was promoting. So because he was picky, he was able to hand select the people that he would have the most influence in going after and getting the most link equity over to his client site. And that's what he went after. Now, those were really golden prospect numbers, because when you take the time to build social capital with these golden prospects, and I'm going to show you how to do that in Module 3. Module 2 is going to help you find more information on your golden prospects. If you're having a hard time finding golden prospects, you might not have found the right ones. And I'm going to go deep into how to doing the research and what information you need to find on them, because that'll make the other modules a lot more valuable to you, because you have to make sure you have the right targets. If you don't have the right targets, you're going to have a hard time. I'm going to turn the screen off. You're going to have a hard time getting that 92% success rate. And if you do get the 92% success rate, you are going to have a with the golden prospect. 92% would be big stuff for your business. And that would, I'm not saying you're going to get 92% like Eric did, because Eric was good at his craft and he was awesome at writing link outreach questions. I mean, he was funny in whatever he did. Even his link outreach was just brilliant. And I just wish I would have listened to more of what he said or recorded more of our conversations. I'd love to have that library of just him just spouting off from his head of what a good link outreach message to start out with in any given situation, for any given client, for any given prospect, promoting any given fruit fly, any given client. So one more question, then we're going to get on with your questions. Oh, that was the question, wasn't it? Yeah. I'm out of questions. So did I just give this away? Or who got this? You guys got to, well, you guys can't see what I'm doing. Help me out here. Who won this? This Art of Manliness collection box set signed. Could you guys? Ben, you won that? All right. So I'm out of questions. How can I possibly be out of questions? Oh, because I didn't. Here we go. This is for the Ben Franklin Virtues, 13-week journal with updated dimensions. Retail value, $46.75. First hand I see gets a chance to win it. What year did the man walk on the moon? What year? Alex Trebek, I am not. What year did man walk on the moon for the first time? Hands. John? Boom. Year I was born. I was born 1 month after that happened. I was born on a planet where man walked on the moon. John, that's yours. Oh, wait a minute. You won something else, didn't you? You won a notebook. So I have to give another notebook away. I take it you want to, John, do you want to trade in your notebook for the gift set, the Benjamin Franklin planner? It's worth more money. Maybe you can give it as a gift. Sure, okay. I have one notebook to give away. Well, a pack of 3. I don't know. I'll give it away a little bit. Let's get to your questions. You guys haven't asked any questions yet? You must have questions. We have 1 hour and 5 minutes to go. Is anybody having trouble with their golden prospects? Or is anybody not to their homework section yet? Or is everybody not on their homework yet? Oh, okay, the questions are over here. That's fine. What is it? Ryan asked first, what is a stealth link? Stealth links are usually a link that you don't earn right away with a prospect. I'll give you an example of a perfect stealth link that I received from Eric Ward. And the very first link I received, I'm sharing the screen now. I'm telling myself. So I'm going to go to Eric's site. I can go there now without feeling sad. I still miss him. And at first I couldn't stand going to his site. The very first link I received from Eric, I took down evidently. My link's not there anymore. I took the whole page down. So I messed the page up somehow. Maybe it's .html. Well, I'll have to fix that. I received a link on his 300 plus greatest hits. Oh, I can't have that site down. I need to fix that today. 300 greatest hits. Had all his links on all these different sites. And he put my link up near the top. And he goes, this is the page that gets the most traffic, Matt. He gave me a link over to my homepage. And it was in the form of a testimonial I gave him. All right, that's not a stealth link. Anybody could find that link, except now I can't seem to find it. So evidently it's a stealth link too that I need to locate. But that was the first link, and it really wasn't a life-changing link because it didn't make any money for me. But it was nice that Eric Ward had linked to me. There's fruit flies in here, and hopefully the camera can't see them if I'm like grabbing at things like King Kong and some stupid little flies. And so what happens is we got to a point where that link didn't help me much, and then he gave me another link, and one of the biggest links he gave me was this site-wide link down here. That got me a lot of traffic coming straight from people. Who did Eric give a site-wide link to? And then they would come over to my site, and I could look at my analytics, and I started seeing a lot more traffic. But even then, that wasn't anything compared to the first stealth link he gave me. And what was his stealth link? Well, he has a newsletter. And his newsletter is Link Moses Private. Oh, guess what? You guys were all on it. He mentioned me in a newsletter. And I think it was in May of last year, this year even, that he mentioned me. So it was only 7 months ago that I received my first stealth link from Eric. And it brought in 4 or 5 new clients for us. And those 4 or 5 new clients, some are still on board with us. And some of those pay us $2,500, $33,000 a month. And so it adds up. Month after month for 4 or 5 clients, you can see that the money certainly helped us out getting that stealth link. Did it help our Google rankings? No. Does it matter? Not at all. This is about earning revenue. And too many link builders will say, well, a newsletter will be a great link, but it's not going to help your SEO. Well, who cares about helping the SEO? I want to help the business. I want to help your business get links. I want to help your business get revenue. I don't want to help you. I don't know. I don't want to. I feel, Eric, we used to get frustrated, Eric and I. If people would just realize that it takes just as much effort to build links the right way as it does to do it the wrong way. It takes less effort to do it the right way because you're negotiating with people where you can get a 92% success rate on your request. So it's long story short, long way to short. That was a long way to answer. What is a stealth link? It's a link that a prospect gives you, a referral partner gives you on their newsletter. Usually comes in the form of an endorsement. So when a stealth link by itself, a link by itself is one thing, but when there's an endorsement attached to it and it's coming from a shepherd, and let's face it, Link Moses was a shepherd, and he was one of the finest shepherds I've ever seen in the link building and SEO industry. His following is just phenomenal that he was able to stay white hat and keep his name positive in the industry for as long as he did it, and he stayed true to his message across his entire career. And that's because it was the truth, even when the truth wasn't popular. And it was easier to cheat. And there was people like me flaunting money and said, black hat works better. I'd rather make money and have all these testimonials and clients loving me for the rankings than doing it the right way. And then all that was yanked out away from me. My entire business, just all the Legos fell down because of the algorithm. So now I'm not a big fan of chasing the algorithm. And that's something that I hate. And stealth links is the perfect opportunity to get a link that your competition can't copy. And so it's important that you get those too. And those are the type of, like I said, links that come with an endorsement. And that though it's just probably the best type of link you can get. All right, if you have a client that's here in Atlanta. Ryan, could you clarify what type of client that is? Air, like air conditioning, HVAC? Thank you, Chris. It's recording. Should I sign up for SpyFu? Oliver asked that question earlier. No. As far as I know, SpyFu does not have a bulk analysis where you can put in all your golden prospects website links, and then it'll spit out the value of each of their site as far as the traffic value goes. You always have to put it in one at a time, and SpyFu gives that away for free. So I'm not an affiliate of SpyFu, in case you've noticed. Maybe some trainers would have become an affiliate, just say, yeah, you need to buy it. It's great. But the free version works just as well for our purposes as the paid version. Oliver, are you still having trouble with the screen? I'm just scrolling through the questions. Get a drink of coffee. Let's have a sip together, or tea. I'm just going through. Jonathan's feeling very manly. I love the branding on their site. I'm going to go back there one more time. They're not a client. Look at this branding. It's beautiful. It's old fashioned. And if I take this to SpyFu, where do you get a load of this? They have a monthly estimated SEO click value of $1.33 million. Is that a golden prospect? Yeah. Who cares about any other metric? That's a metric that counts. All right. Looking for final questions. Then I'm from the, try to leave the questions. Only drink tea is so much healthier. My wife only drinks tea too. Heating and air. Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna go to a heating. I'm gonna go to an HVAC site here in Mason. I'm gonna make sure that they're local. Is it not a look that they're not some big chain? All right. How would I find a golden prospect for A1 Mechanical? All right, am I sharing the screen? I am. I'm good. Okay. I wouldn't. Next question. No, I'm teasing. There's all sorts of things you can do. Resources. A lot of times I'll look in their testimonials and I'll look to see what kind of people are hiring them. Is it mostly businesses or is it residential? And here on this one, it looks like it's mostly residential. They do new construction. All right, so right here, I look at their services. The first thing I would look at is furnace repair. What about furnace parts? So I would look for people selling parts that are not repairing furnaces in the same general location in the same city. It could be in the same state too. Yeah, they're not doing any repair work, are they? Same day shipping. I would definitely furnace repair parts. So that's just because the people repairing furnitures, what am I saying furniture? Furnaces, they're going to run into a lot of people who are asking them to repair their furnaces. But we don't repair furnaces. You do it yourself. Well, do you know anybody that does repair? Oh yeah, we have these guys that we do business with, and that's the way that works. So, and it looks like there may be enough appliance parts. I don't know about that. No, that wouldn't be good. And I'm not saying this would be the angle I would attack. This is just the first one I'm looking at. And I'm not sure anything with Sears would be worthwhile. All right. There are HVAC part stores that do not offer repair services. They come in contact with people needing HVAC work all the time. I would consider them one source of a golden prospect. But going back to the site, let's look. Furnace replacement. Furnace manufacturers. Probably not, unless you could find a smaller shop. And most of these look like they're curated sites. All right, forget that. Air condition repair. Well, that's probably HVAC parts, air condition replacement. Another thing, what about apartment complexes? What about condominiums? What about any of those types of people who regularly hire HVACs? What about property managers? I imagine that property managers would be a huge referral prospect, a referral partner to have for an HVAC company. Another thing I would do is I would build up referral relationships with electrical contractors in the city. Hey, we get people asking us, we run into electrical work all the time. People ask us, what electricians do you recommend? And we can easily tell them your business. We just tell them go to the yellow pages. Can we refer business back and forth? A partnership is born. It doesn't have to be them linking to you and you linking back. And I want to say that too, reciprocal linking. A lot of people think it's bad. It depends on the usage, and this is right in alignment with anything Eric ever taught on it. Is the fact, I'm gonna scratch my nose, don't look. Bugging me. I won't edit that out either. All right. I'm good. So is that reciprocal links, if you're sharing, if I link to your site, you have an electrical appliance site, and I'm an HVAC site, and I say, listen, this is where we get our parts, is from this site. And then you have a list on your site of people that offers HVAC repair for the parts, you know, like people you recommend. That's reciprocal linking. There's nothing wrong with that. It was abused like everything else back in the day when everybody would get to the point where they would just use a lot of different reciprocal links. Hey, if you link to me, I'll link to you. Hey, if you link to me, I'll link to you. Hey, if you link to me, and none of it was relevant. That's reciprocal linking, and that doesn't work. Can you get link equity from the search engines? Yes. But with reciprocal links, if the partnership's right, yes. If it makes sense for there to be remember, a link represents a relationship. And Google looks at the situation. Does it make sense that these two sites would have a relationship, or the owner of these two sites would have a relationship? I have to say yes. So in some cases, your best referral partners in a local setting could very well be other local contractors, local businesses that run into people that might need HVAC, house painters, though I don't know about them, carpenters, landscaping, and I would build a referral network up with them, and I would maybe even create a vendor list, preferred vendor list of other people in the area who you refer out. Hey, by the way, if you ever need plumbing, here's or plumbing or electrical work, or if you need new carpeting or whatever, here's our preferred list of vendors. And every time that HVAC company goes out and services a customer, they drop that list off. That doesn't cost that company anything, and it's also giving a resource to their customers who, instead of them having to go to the yellow pages, they go with somebody that you recommend to them, and that's huge. That's a huge way to go about it, and that's one thing that a lot of people neglect too. All right, so I would do new construction. Well, home builders. I don't know how many home builders you'll get. They're a pretty busy lot. Home automation systems. Oh, what about alarm companies? Alarm companies are always going into new construction and going and into people's homes and selling alarm systems. They would be a good partner to have, and they're hungry for leads too. They would jump in a referral relationship fast too. So I think there's a lot of things you could do if you talk to the other shepherds in the community that you're in. You said Atlanta. Talk to the other people who you know are coming up with leads on a daily basis that they could funnel over to your client site or if it's your business. And I think that would be the best way to do it to build up referrals and also the referral traffic, and to get links, local links, which will help their local rankings. All right, make sure I got the final questions before I go over here. Q&A. Jonathan. I have a finance brokerage site that specializes in bad credit guarantee loans. I've identified a golden prospect, the money saving expert, Martin Lewis, but I've a mental block as to why someone would link to a bad credit loan site. That mental block is what's holding you back from a lot of referral traffic. I know what you're talking about when you say you had that mental block. Is something that was the block I had to get over. And I'll give you some good news on that. At least I thought it was good news. But I have a mental block as to why someone would ever link to a bad credit loan site. The blog is only just going, but I'm starting to specialize in credit repair help, therefore add value, but still have this mental block. Thoughts appreciated on attracting golden prospect to bad credit loans site. Two people walk into a bar. These two people are your competitors. In that bar is a Martin Lewis. Oh, that's Martin Lewis. You both sit down with Martin Lewis. And you're both talking about your sites, and you both ask for a link. One of your sites are great, has great content. The other doesn't. Which one of you gets a link? Neither. Links are not placed with golden prospects on the merits of your content. Let that sink in for a little bit. Links are earned with golden prospects on whether or not they like you. And that's totally flies in the face of anything else you'll hear from any SEO trainer. And if you run across anybody else training that, I would be surprised, very surprised. So, will Martin Lewis link over to a bad credit loan site? Yes. Will he do it right away? No. Will it take social capital? You building up social capital with him? Yes. So build the social capital up, and right now, there's probably some things, and I'll talk about this in another module. But there's some things you have to do to your site to get it ready, and to make sure that your outreach, when you reach out to Martin Lewis, that you're not subtracting social capital instead of adding it. And that's something that we'll get into in a later module. But yes, start building up social capital with Martin Lewis. And I'll show you how to do that in another module, like I said. Michael Johnson. To evaluate sites and determine if they qualify as a golden prospect, can you base it on Alexa rank? I wouldn't. What I like about this value right here, it's based on the current AdWords pricing. Like if this client had to go, and this prospect, this site had to go and purchase from AdWords all the traffic they're receiving already for the same keywords that they're receiving traffic, they had to purchase it from AdWords. This is how much it would cost them. And AdWords value is based upon, really, the buyer keywords are always more expensive. So the higher that number is on SpyFu, the higher, the better chance you are those are buyer keywords and that there's buyers involved on that site. Alexa doesn't keep a track of that at all. It could be any traffic. So yeah, I would, plus SpyFu is free. And Alexa was pretty, I don't think I've ever used Alexa. When I was using typical link building, I would just use Ahrefs and Majestic. How do you balance the advanced research associated with finding golden prospect with time restrictions and client expectations, as opposed to using a tool like Pitchbox for prospecting? Well, I'll show you later on in the module that it doesn't take that long to find the golden prospects. In fact, and I said this before, most of SEO companies will spend 50% to 75% of their efforts in finding links in prospecting, link detective work. And then 25% is into creating the content, and the rest is on outreach. But with this, finding the prospects and doing the advanced research, I have kids doing it. I have my 5th grader helps us find the information for the golden prospects for our clients. I have 2 5th graders, and I have a 11 junior doing that, and they find most of our information for our golden prospects. It's very easy to find. So if it's somebody, is it something you can outsource out once you learn how to do it? Yeah. Is it something that you could train your employee to do, or a kid? Yeah. So I guess the research is there's not much research to do. I mean, probably an afternoon, and like the next module, I'm going to break that research down step by step, and so that at the end of module 2, you're going to have a fleshed out spreadsheet with all the information that you need on your golden prospects. And we're only talking 25 people. Remember, we're not going after 1,000 people. We want a 90% acceptance rate with 25 people. And that works out real well. All right. Let me turn that off. All right. Next. You there? Gosh. Sorry. Sorry. There's too many buttons over here. All right. What's Pitchbox? I don't know what Pitchbox is. Let me go check out Pitchbox. So I use what works. So I don't do it like, oh, well, I'm a white hatter and I'll never use that. What about Pitchbox? I'm gonna sign up for a trial. That's what about Pitchbox. I'm always looking for new things. Usually I use BuzzStream. I'll tell you about Pitchbox in next week in the Q&A session. Sorry, doing a little personal business here. I don't know. I'll tell you about Pitchbox. It looks like it might be. I'll have to get into it. I promise that in the next Q&A, or maybe even when we get into outreach, if Pitchbox is working better than what I'm using on BuzzStream, we'll use this. I'm always looking for different ways to improve my game, and that's how you get pretty good. Instead of saying, "Oh, that wouldn't work," why? Because I'm not using it. If it worked, I would use it, of course. But no, you have no idea what works and what doesn't work. That's why it's a good idea to have that mentality. Thank you, Pitchbox. Is there a particular type of content that gets better results? Let's say you want to move away from infographics, or your client is not approving new content very often. I've had some of those clients. I love them. Then they want to know where the links are. They want to know where the traffic is then, and then they want to know where the links are. And then well, remember you told us no on the last 9 link bait ideas we had? Well, those have ramifications. But you can't have that conversation with them unless you got a lot of extra clients and you don't care if you lose that client or not. But what type of content works well if you don't want to do infographics? Let's think about that. Well, let me tell you about golden prospect content. If you noticed in the series that I get, and I'm going to find it. I'm going to go to it right now. In lesson 6, I share a formula on how to create content that your golden prospect will link to. So if you do need content, sometimes it helps to create a piece of content that is specifically created for your golden prospect. Now, as far as and I won't get into how that goes because it's quite a detailed formula that I use for that, but it's all in lesson 6 of this Shoot for the Moon series, and you guys all have links to that. And so I would say check that out. As far as that's the type of content you can create to get a link from a golden prospect. As far as regular link campaigns, I don't know. I don't really care about those types of campaigns because they don't really turn into revenue. I know you need it for your clients and you need to come up with a way to get links. I would find them some golden prospects and say, look how much traffic they're getting, and share the spreadsheet that I help you fix up in module 2 and show you how to do, and to set up yourself, and then show them the numbers of all these prospects that you're going to build relationships with and get links to their site and stealth links and all that. Then show them the SpyFu ratings and say, I'm going after these people. They're going to be slower to get, but I'm going to keep track of my efforts here and where we're at with each of them on this spreadsheet, so you can watch and just watch us build relationships up with these people on your behalf. Now, infographics is probably the easiest way to get links if you're just doing link building. And why don't I like getting links to link bait? Because if the link bait isn't converting, if the link bait isn't turning visitors into customers, why are we building links to it? Oh, because we're hoping Google will take those links and then transfer them over to our other pages, link equity that is, and give us a better ranking for our sales pages. Me, I would rather just build links straight to the sales pages. When that makes sense, if that's where the money is, well, let's build links there. But who's going to link to a sales page, Matt? That's why we created link bait. Well, that's what happens when the mentality and the paradigm is set towards wanting to build links based upon the merit of your content. You think, well, I need to have content before I can ever get this guy to link to me or this gal to link to me. But it's not that way at all. Remember, people link to you if they like you. And if you have social capital, so like that's Jordan Harbinger's term. That's not my term, from his Art of Charm. And his social capital course. You can find his social capital course on artofcharm.com and look at his courses. It's a great course. I just got through module 3 and I love it. It's a great course. I'm not an affiliate either, and I just tell you I'm always taking courses. I love courses, and most of them I'll never tell you about because most of them are horrible. But this one is good because it goes about how Jordan is booked big names onto his podcast. He gets 4.1 or 2 million downloads a month. And he shared his process and how he booked and how he learned how to book really big names onto his podcast before he had those sick numbers. Now his numbers are so sick that he can get anybody to come on the show. Russell Brand, just his list of guests is just huge. But that's because he has social capital built up in the number of downloads he has. But before he started, he didn't have that social capital, and he had to build it up. And pretty much it's his system and how he did it. So it fits really well with what I'm teaching in this course and how to reach out to golden prospects. But for the most part, you don't need to create a special piece of content to get a link from a golden prospect. It's just having them like you is all that it takes. And I know that sounds weird, but that's the way it is. Outreach software. Ben, you are the man turning me on to some new toy I get to play with. I love testing new toys. All right, I'm gonna go back to the chat. You're welcome, Ryan. See how fast I ordered that? Saw something new. I didn't poo-poo it. I just dove right in and signed up for a demo. That's how you learn. And then you do that over a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, you get pretty good. And that's just the way it goes. All right, any more questions? Because we technically have another half hour to go. The itchy nose today. The fruit fly flew around my nose and it got me paranoid. Module 4. Can't tell you before that. But I'll tell you a little, I guess I can tell you a little bit. There's lots of different ways you can build social cap. Once you have your golden prospects, module 1's about a new paradigm, a shift in your thinking. And that's all that's all module 1 was about, to set the stage for these next 3. Then module 2 will talk about actually getting the golden prospects, how to flesh out and research them. And I'll do some as we go. Module 3 is what we do to actually reach out to them to build social capital. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. And link builders are not using these tactics. So you're going to be heads and tails above your competitors if you use what I teach you in module 3. Module 4, on the other hand, is what to do once you have enough social capital generated. And I have a number system, and I'm not going to share the number system with you, but every time you do, when I was a kid, the best allowance system my parents ever set up was a point system. And they put a chart up, and if you like washed the dishes, you got 50 cents. If you took the trash out, you got, this was in the 70s. If you took the trash out, you got a quarter. If you cut the grass, you got $1. And you could make as much as you wanted, and you could work as little as you wanted. And I remember just working as much as I could, feeling as much as I could as I went along, and I have no idea when I got into that story. It happened. The bunny trail got me. It'll come back. Give me 20 seconds. I'm going to drink coffee, go slow. Why was I telling that story? Oh, yeah. Point system. That was like, I knew that I did enough work to make $9 or $7. It didn't turn out to be $9, let me tell you. It was more like $3 if you did everything. And well, $3 went a long way. So that would buy those Jolly Rancher candy sticks that about that long and your teeth stick to. I could get those for 10 cents a piece. I could get a pop for 25 cents. I mean, $3 went a long way. But as you go out and you do this outreach and with prospects, what will happen is you'll get points. So as you send it, like for instance, a handwritten thank you note, that's worth a certain amount of points. Sent right over to your golden prospect. You thank them for being helpful on something. You find something that they were helpful, and you find out something where you don't lie to them. I don't want. You never want to lie to somebody to get social capital and say, well, that moved my heart the way you helped that gentleman in that blog post. And I just wanted to send you a thank you note. But that's fake. You have to find something really you can thank them for. Maybe you get a bulk discount, or maybe the fact that I'm sending a thank you note to the Art of Manliness people to let them know thank you for putting such great site together. I shared it on my training session, and I also bought a bunch of products and gave them away. I hope maybe it'll drive some traffic your way, but thank you for putting such an awesome site together. It really helped me in coming up with gifts for the people in my class. So the point is, you can always find a thank you note, and now you're starting to interact with these golden prospects, and you can start firing off thank you notes at them. That's like a certain amount of social capital. If you get them mentioned in a newsletter, that's more social capital. If you have a newsletter of your own that is fitting for them to be in, that's more social capital. So there's a lots of different ways to build that social capital up. And then what to do when you go and you finally ask to link for the sales page, because they're going to say, what can I do for you? Well, can I have a link to my infographic? No, you're not going to say that. When I finally talked I didn't have to talk my wife into it too much, but when I finally talked her into a date, I didn't stop there, obviously. I didn't just go on one date and went on the second date, and the third date, and the fourth date. And that's what will happen as we're just constantly building and reaching out to these golden prospects and earning social capital with them. They will start giving you social capital. You'll start liking them, and because you chose them properly, and they're really good people, and they respond well to your messages, and your job will get a lot easier generating links and revenue. So that's the system there, and it doesn't matter if they're linking. They're going to say, "Well, you've been so nice to me, Jonathan. I'm not going to link over to your. I can't link to your sales page, but what I will link to is to your infographic." No, they don't care. If they trust you, you're going to have the halo effect is your best weapon, really tool to use in your campaign. What's the halo effect? There's a study that's been done that and they took X amount of men that were handsome, were thought to be handsome, that had the charged with some crime. Then they took the same amount of men that were not handsome and that were charged with the same crime, same amount of criminal history. Then they tracked to see how much time each group got, and by far, the good-looking group, they had less sentences. They did less time, and a higher percentage of them, a significant higher percentage of them received probation. So there's a halo effect. And if somebody's beautiful, they have a certain halo effect. And in link building, there's a halo effect too. It could be and like Eric said, when he was building links for Disney, every person he would send a link request to was just so happy that they received the link from Disney and email from Disney. Disney reached out to me, hon, can you believe it? All they asked me to do was to promote, give them a link. I gave it to them instantly. And Eric said, yeah, like 100% acceptance rates on those campaigns because of the halo of Disney. Now, when you're dealing with your golden prospects and you're building social capital up with them and doing really cool things for them, what happens is you start receiving a halo. And they will look at your service with the halo effect. That's a nice guy. Of course, his service has to be nice. He's a nice guy. Why? He's not a scammer. He's a nice guy. He bought me this. He sent me a thank you note. How could he be a bad guy? He won't think that in his head, but he'll just automatically assume a link to your sales page is a good idea because of the halo effect. And too many link builders are trying to build links on the merit of their content, and they're thinking that gives them a halo. It doesn't. It's just a given. All right. More questions? Ooh, okay. I can get in there, Michael. Oh, Jen too. Just me. Okay, Jen. How would you begin to identify a golden prospect for a company that manufactures broadband microwave components? By golly. Let's go look. What I do first is so you don't have to give me your client site or your site. Tricky. Okay, here's the problem with these type of sites. If you're a link builder, sites like this are usually put together by an engineer. Oh, well, I know how to do sites, and they put a template together and they write it in their engineer talk. Well, that makes it very hard for a link builder with my IQ to come in here and figure out what it is I'm supposed to do. So solutions, they have microwave applications. So a lot of times in their sales copy, broadband microwave. A lot of times in their meta codes, what they'll do is they'll give away who their their main prospects are. Industry leaders specialize in ultra broadband microwave components. Equipment including directional couplers, hybrid couplers, power dividers, detectors. Product categories, custom solutions, commercial and military applications. All right, so we have to get test equipment. I don't know how to do military link building. The golden prospect going after a general. I don't know how to do that. But it doesn't mean it can't be done. It just means I haven't done it. So what we have to do is find commercial people who need commercial test equipment. Do you know who their end user is, Jen? Who they normally sell to? Like, I know this isn't your client, but well, maybe they say it in their about. Yeah, written by an engineer. Military hospitals. All right. Military hospitals. Who specifically are the end users for the military hospital in the military hospitals? Like, is it the administration? Is there an admin, or is there somebody, a general? Check this out. News site, military site, .mil. That didn't work, did it? No, it's still there. I don't know how to do that. Eric would have had that. Let me think about that one. Military hospitals. And I would need to know military and hospitals. The procurement departments of the, yeah. So military hospital. .gov. Yeah, I'm going to look into that for you. I'm going to find a better list of I haven't really done too much with government or the military. That sounds like kind of fun. Can I use it for an example? Well, I don't have to. I mean, I don't want to put your business out for everybody, but I would like to help you a little more on that and dig into that, but I can't really do it on this call because that's a toughie. Broadband equipment to military hospitals, and it's going to be so we need to find out who the decision maker is. Is it the procurement department? I need to know the title. We need to know the title of the person who makes the decision And usually I have to go to the client for that, and then they tell me that. Then because if it's a certain title, it might be somebody, there might be a publication that just is geared towards that certain job level. And then that would be a shepherd that we can go after. So finding military shepherds, I don't think it's going to be impossible, but it's going to be a fun adventure. Let's put it that way. It's not an impossible adventure, and it's not a dangerous adventure either. So it's going to be a lucrative one, because I'll tell you what, if you get that figured out, that's going to be some good business. Thank you, Jen. I promise I'll take a look at it and dig more into it, because it sounds like fun. All right, raise of hands. Let me go over to where I got to get. Who watched the Module 1 video? Ryan, Ben, Carrie. Is it a little different than what you were thinking? It's really, I'm glad seeing so many hands going up. Is it a little different than what you thought it was going to be? Yeah, everybody, even when I'm talking to prospects, they're like, I've never had another SEO company talk to me about this. That helps too. Hint, hint, guys. Hint, hint. Don't talk about SEO when you're talking with new prospects, if you're an agency. Yeah, that's, but you know what? A lot of trainers, like, I'm not going to mention names, but I will. Brian Dean. Brian Dean's a good trainer. I like Brian. He's a young guy. He's got a huge following. And I call him an email marketer, because if you go to his site, he's not offering services. He has a course that he offers, but you have to get on the waiting list. And it's a top dollar course, and I'm sure it's worth it. I tried to get on, and I was a day late, because I sign up for just about every course I can get to. And but Brian Dean has a huge email list. He's a marketer. He's a great marketer. And it's easy for him to earn links with that list, because it's leverage. And it's social capital. The list itself is social capital. So I'm not saying that's what Brian does, but he's the expert on page SEO. He'll teach you to use a lot of emails to do the outreach, and it's a numbers game. That's where I kind of think his system falls apart. But what he teaches on page and YouTube videos, and how to rank YouTube videos, pay attention to Brian Dean, backlinko.com. But his outreach is a little off, because to him it's a numbers game. And what I brought that up is a lot of SEO trainers haven't tried to build links themselves. And I don't mean hiring somebody, training them, and they're building links. I'm talking about themselves. And when you do that, you just learn better ways, especially if you don't quit at it. And I have never a trainer. I've always been an agency, and starting this was hard. But you know what? I think I'm a lot like you guys. I just wanted a better way to get revenue to my site and to my client sites. And I got tired of Google, and I got tired of hoping Google would build links. And then I found a better way. And what was that better way? I sat at the feet of Eric Ward. I learned from him. I've hired him as my consultant on just about every campaign new campaign we had coming on board, and that was quite a bit of them. And I learned from him, and I learned that better way. And now I just want to share it with you guys. And that's doesn't make me a trainer. I know that I can help you. And so a lot of guys that will do training is they will start talking about that email outreach at the end of their module. And they don't teach that towards a later module. So you get all hyped into it about all the link outreach and everything about setting up the on page, and you get all excited, and that's all done. Then you get to the outreach module, and it's email. Build a bigger list, and they'll come. And get bigger lists, you'll get more links. And like I said in that outreach, in that module 1 video, there's people that respond to those spam email requests. link requests, and those people are probably linking over to spam. It's just a good way to get a toxic link to your site. It's just a horrible way to market your business. You would never expect to feed your family if that was the only type of work you were doing to market your business. This type of what you're learning in Module 1, and I'm pointing to the whiteboard that you can't see, and this work is going to earn you revenue, and hopefully you will keep up with the homework. Hopefully you will ask every question you have come into your head, any roadblock you come across. I hope you share it with me on these lessons, or send me an email on these question and answer sessions rather, or send me an email because I can help you get past that. That's going to be the real strength of this course, is us having some back and forth between each other, so I can answer your questions and help you get over where you're at. And like I said, you can teach me some things too, like PitchBox. Yeah, is there too big of a golden? Yeah, but SEO that works. That was, I know, his on-page stuff. He's a guy I learned from. I didn't learn that from Eric Ward. I mean, we have SEO clients, so we have to do on-page, because you can get revenue out of on-page. We get a new client come on, what we do is we look at their revenue pages and see which pages are creating the most revenue for them, and then we tweak those first with on-page. And I didn't learn how to tweak on-page, and the success we have didn't come from Eric Ward. He didn't teach me on-page. That was Brian Dean. And that's, so I have a lot of goodwill. What do goodwill? I'm just a fan of Brian. I love me some Brian Dean, but I learned outreach from Eric Ward, and so yeah, learn on page from Brian Dean, learn outreach from well, for me or Eric. Well, I'm teaching Eric's style. Is there too big of a ask for a golden prospect? I don't think so. If you can reach them, you can grab them. I'm going to tell you a story. And I've never told this, I don't know if I've told you this before, fruit fly. See, you know, I'm not being pretentious, and I'm not trying to be bigger than I am and editing that out. I got fly flying into my coffee, and I pick it out, and I just keep on going. I'm not trying to put on airs here. I'm just trying to teach you a different way of getting links. Back in 2004, I lived in a small ranch house. Very small. We didn't have as many kids as we did then, and our kids filled the bedrooms, and we didn't have enough bedrooms left over. It's a 3-bedroom place. So my wife and I, we slept on a blow-up mattress in the living room. Kids went to bed, and they were young, and they stayed in bed, and it was bedtime, and so it was all right for a couple of years we were there. And my workstation was a camp chair, was a chair that I bought for $1, and my table was a camping chair, was a camping table, and it was all folded and it was all messed up. And my phone system was this big giant thing, and I had this big 19-inch monitor that weighed like 500 pounds. And in the morning, we would get up before the kids, and we would get out of bed and take care of the mattress and fold everything up, and then we'd have a living room again. And that's how we lived. That year, I was contacted by Bush Cheney campaign, somebody at the lower levels of the Bush Cheney campaign. They saw that I was, at the time, I was a prolific email marketer, spammer, and that's in 2004. By that time, yeah, that was spam. In 95, I was just an email marketer. In 2004, I was spamming for a while. And we were saving our money up for a bigger house, so we were living frugally and liking it. But because we lived across the street, the house was across from my parents, and we had grown up in that neighborhood. It was almost like we weren't quite ready to leave the neighborhood. And so what happened was Bush Cheney called me, and they found out that I was doing email. They wanted some lists from me. They wanted me to procure some lists for them for the get out the vote. And then I said, well, what do we, let's talk price. And they said, well, we're looking for, you can donate it and help the cause. And I had just saw, it was like 5 minutes before they called, I saw that they had just spent like $35 million in one day on TV. So, and I said, no, I'm not giving you anything. And I said, well, I don't have the capability or the authority to pay you any money. So what would anybody else do in that situation? Just give up and say, okay, well, I'm not going to help you out. I need money. And that was the end of it, but not me. So if that guy didn't have the authority over me, what was to give me money? So I needed to find somebody who did have the authority. That night, I went and I looked up. I found Bush Cheney's website. I studied it. I found out their top 17 things that they did that they wanted to accomplish in their campaign and what their goals were. And then I created a proposal, cover letter, I had a plan that would help them accomplish 17 goals. Guess what those goals were? Those are the goals I took right off their website. So of course they're going to respond to that. So now who am I going to send it to? To the guy's boss that I just talked to? No. I went and found out who their campaign director was. There was a guy named Ken Millman. And I said, well, their website is bushcheney.com or whatever, 04.com. Let me try Ken Millman at Bush Cheney. And I tried like 47 different emails. I don't know how many I used. It was a lot, maybe 50 different combinations of what his email address could be. And I sent him that email with, I would like to talk. This is what we can accomplish. And this is what we're going to accomplish. And it was all the goals that they were trying to get anyway. So of course it was congruent with what they were trying to do. Long story short, I sent those emails out. They all bounced except one. And I knew that I had reached a guy who was sitting right next to the president in this big election. And not getting into politics, and this wasn't about politics. This was about a marketer that was living in humble, at that time, in some humble surroundings, that was trying to take a swing for the fences with the golden prospect. What happened is I ended up doing a $3 million proposal. The first sales call, everybody introduced themselves to, and this is Ken Millman, campaign director. Mike Turk, e-campaign director. And there was all the way around, and I was Matt LeClaire, email marketer. And right when I did, I sat back and my foot hit the plug on my phone under the table, and it disconnected and hung up on everybody. So here I am in that powerful conversation at my camping chair, and I just hung up everybody. So I called back, they laughed, it worked out. I ended up giving them a $3 million proposal to hit all their battleground states for email marketing. They said they were going to do it. I found somebody that would do the work. I was going to pay them $2 million. My cut was going to be $1 million, and I wasn't going to have to do any of the work. I was just putting the deal together. And they said they were going to do it. We did a dance. I spent the money in my head, and then I didn't hear anything. Then I didn't hear anything again. Then I didn't hear anything a month later, a month after that. Then that was just the end of it. So what I did is I did something kind of naughty. I said, well, I don't want them to ignore me. I'm not going to get anything if they ignore me. This is September or August. The election's getting a little long in the tooth. This is good, and this is going to happen. It needs to happen fast. I went and I wrote the president's name down on a whiteboard. Then I got in online, and I found every name that was associated with the president in his inner circle. Jeb Bush, Dick Cheney, and Orrin Hatch, I'm not sure what his name is, Lindsey Graham, all the big Republican guys at the time. I found their names. I wrote their circles. Then I went and found their circles, and I wrote all that down. And I ended up having a list of maybe 50, 60 people. And one was Liz Cheney. And then I went looking for the information. I found Lynn Cheney's secretary's address. I found Jeb Bush's secretary. I found almost everybody's secretary or their personal assistant's emails. Just sitting on the internet. And this was in 2004. Google's a lot more powerful now. So finding our golden prospects isn't hard. And what happened was I sent them all an email. I said, listen, the president had just dropped in the polls in that election. Kerry had just took a big upswing. So I said, now's the time. And I sent an email out to all these people. It was at 2 o'clock in the morning. I sent it out. And I said, this is an emergency transmission. We have a proposal. Given the recent slide in the polls, I feel that I have to send this message out. we have a proposal in for the get out the vote in the battleground states of such and such, and we have submitted them to Mike Turk, the e-campaign director, and he has been sitting on that proposal. And you owe it to your country to get this message over to the president and regarding my proposal. So I threw Mike Turk under the bus. I didn't throw the campaign director under the bus. I threw the second guy under the bus because I knew if I threw the big guy under the bus, that's the guy that was going to give me the money. So I had to throw the e-campaign director under the bus. So I was trying to stir things up. And I sent all the emails out at 2 o'clock in the morning. My dad comes over at 8 o'clock in the morning. Like I said, we lived across the street from each other. We're having our morning coffee. And we hear this helicopter. It's like our window starts shaking a little bit. And we're like, what's going on? And we looked out and there was a helicopter, a commercialized Apache helicopter. It was white. And it went around, it did a circle, and it stopped right over our house. Then it did another big circle and went over our house. And that happened several more times. It always hovered right over our house for 10 minutes, maybe a minute. Then it would do another big circle and come back. And then on the last flight, last circle, it took off and headed off towards the sky in another direction. And then it was 5 minutes later, I got the email from Ken Melman, campaign director. Matt, we decided to pass. Thank you for all your hard work. Good luck. Rejection. Now, what does that have to do with the Golden Prospect? My dad said, I'm so sorry, Matt, that was a failure, that it didn't work out for you. I was ecstatic. I got the most powerful man, or the second most powerful man in the campaign, to somehow get his helicopter, fly it over my camp chair, and make his presence known to me. And that's not too shabby from some guy sitting, like I said, didn't have his own bedroom, sitting in the living room with a camp table and a big computer, and I think it was a Hot Wheel computer. It was blue, red, and yellow. It had Hot Wheel logo on the top of it that we took off. And so it was like just a used computer screen. So if I could reach the most powerful people in the world back then, and can we reach our Golden Prospects? Yes. So is there too big of an ask of a Golden Prospect? And I would say no. And the whole idea is they will link over to your, it doesn't matter how big they are people, and they will respond to your social capital. My problem that I did in 2004 is they were not responding to social capital. They were responding to my leverage. So I can just imagine 4 or 5 of those emails I sent out to all those key people were just all coming into the president at once, just that morning. Ken Melman had to come after me and at least acknowledge my existence and tell me that they couldn't do business with me. And I forced that hand at them. Do we want to force our Golden Prospects like that? No. That was a long time ago. What's it? 14 years ago, 13 years ago. I've learned how to build social capital up and stay out of politics. That's my rule. And you know what? There is no ask that's too big. Was it too big for me to ask Eric to link to my site? No, I never asked him for that. Was it too big for me to ask for him to put me in the newsletter? No. Was it too big for me to ask for him to give me the site-wide link? No, I never asked. He just gave them. A lot of the times they'll just give the stuff to you, but your major ask is going to be something that's going to be a win-win situation. So you can offer as big of a solution as you want to your Golden Prospects, the biggest ask that you can think of, as long as you can frame it as a win-win. And you win, they win. And if you can do that, it can be as big as you need it to be. So I thought your question was, is there such a thing as too big of a Golden Prospect? The answer is no. You can do it. And I told you that whole long, boring failure story of me getting the money me getting the helicopter visit from the president. And what's funny is I was joking around when they accepted. I said, watch, they're going to bring a helicopter. It's going to fly over and it's going to land in mom and dad's backyard, and I'm going to have to get in the helicopter and fly off. So at first, when I saw that helicopter, it threw me for a loop. And but like I said, they did so many passes that it was obviously them. And then the timing of when the rejection email came. So I guess don't throw stones at people that have Apache helicopters. I don't know if that what their idea was, but it was fun. And Mike Turk was the e-campaign director. And I know I'll never get to ask Ken Melman, but I want to get in touch with Mike Turk, wherever he is, whoever, and I don't know, and I haven't been able to find him. He could totally verify this story. The e-campaign director of Bush Cheney was Mike Turk in 2004, and he can verify this story is true, and my dad. And plus, if I was telling the story, I'd tell it a lot cooler. If I was making it up. So that's my Bush Cheney story. No, I didn't have anything to do with him being reelected. But it's funny, they did send me a picture of the president in a frame after all that, with a fake signature. It looked like it was his signature with pen. All right. 3:36. And I think that's it. All right, we're going to end it up. All right, I'm going to be on the face. If you have questions that come in, you can when you're doing your homework, send me a message. You can reply to my email, or even to link Moses' private email that I send out when I send a newsletter. You got to have me somewhere in your inbox. Reply to me with your questions, or go to the Facebook page and the private group that I created for this training series, and ask them there, because I think that's where the real value of this training is going to be, is having somebody to reach out to when you're doing your homework, because that's going to pay huge dividends for you in the end. So that's the end of module 1, question and answer session, and I'll probably edit out that whole Bush Cheney helicopter story, because I don't tell it too often, because it's political and it's kind of a failure, and I was kind of mean, and I was just kind of like poking a bear with a stick. And I knew I wasn't going to get the money that way, but I still was upset with them that they were ignoring me. I think that's the moral of the story. I didn't like being ignored, so I poked the bear with a stick, and they ended up coming at me with a commercialized Apache helicopter. All right, that's it.